Would you like to become the Elden Lord using a Sith-like energy weapon? Well, no problem. We have the Regalia of Eochaid and Marais Executioners Sword build for you, where you can just, with a normal longsword, poke a long-range attack that has quite some insane stagger to throw back people and does incredible damage. This is currently just a +2 blade, and well, on +9, this looks even more hugely different. So you have a single longsword and you have the big two-hander, both being just fantastic. The single longsword, the Regalia of Eochaid, can be acquired relatively early, and it has the dancing blade attack. As you can see, it goes for a whirly-twirly with a swish. And you can get this 30 minutes as you have started the game, and I'll obviously show you how to get this. It is super cool and super fun to use. And obviously getting +5 is kind of without a hassle there. I didn't want to get a +9 straight away because I was planning to go for Marais Executioners Sword, and that took me roughly 4 hours to acquire after starting this character. Marais Executioners Sword is the big version of this. You have to choose, do you want to play the big two-handed version or do you want to play the one-handed version? I mean, you can also one-hand, obviously, Marais. That is not a problem. Both of them are one-handleable. Marais, really cool. Like, it seems to have a little bit more range than the Regalia of Eochaid. If I'm looking for this, always try to confirm that. Nah, I think the range is roughly equal. But it just like feels that the last hit, especially with a Marais Executioner's Sword, feels a bit better. Also, as you can see here, this has an E strength scaling where it has a D dex scaling and a D arc. But this one has a B strength scaling, so it's also like a huge strength weapon where you can then just do very good hitting attacks with. And as you see, this is a nice looking one with a sword, right? I love this one. I've been using it mainly to get people ultra staggered, especially if you land one of these upper bangers and then you follow up with the whirly twirly. The amount of damage you actually do is quite significant, and the amount of stagger you do is quite significant. And then you can obviously decide, do you want to even do the backstab, or are you just going to swish one of these again into them, because the damage will be just a banger. Especially on top of that, you can use the incantation Give Me Strength, and you instantly get 20% more damage for 30 seconds. So we're going roughly from 625, what we have right now, up to 750 per two-handed heavy attack swing. Obviously, then when you're also doing your whirly twirly into their face, that one does more damage as well. Now, first, I'll show you how to get this sword and what level you can actually get it with. And then we'll be talking about what makes the build good. Obviously, the sword begins with the Regalia of Eochaid. And for that one, there used to be a jump spot at the third church of Marika. That does not exist anymore. Heads up. Because a lot of people will probably tell you to do this. They actually fixed it. What you do is you go into Khalid. In the very beginning, you can just essentially from the Stormhill Shack right down the road until you really get to the Rotview balcony. Head down the road over the Callum ruins until you essentially reach Fort Gal. That is the gigantic fort here, but you can also just follow the road until you really get to the Khalid Highway South. That's really just one gigantic rundown, and I essentially did this with level 7. We started as a hero, so the axe-wielding dude, and then as you start at this, you're looking down the road you essentially came from, okay? And we're aiming to get to the Gale Cave. And the Gale Cave was just very simple to reach. You just head straight west from that spot, and you already see a lake of rod past these ruins. So you essentially just write down, and again, level 7. Brand new account, just straight up got my horse, went on my horse, got myself 2 stone sword keys, because this is obviously something you need. You will need to get 2 stone sword keys, and then you'll find this hidden cave. And this Gale Cave is where you're going to be finding the Regalia of Eochaid. In order to get the 2 stone sword keys early, that is actually extremely simple. There's 1 stone sword key, for example, on the Bridge of Sacrifice, that would be all the way south, straight up from the gate front. You ride down, get this grace, Bridge of Sacrifice, and there's just one stone sword key on the bridge as you ride through on the left side. So you go here, and then you pick it up there. That's just where one stone sword key is just waiting for you to get picked up. And another one is essentially lying in the Dragonburn ruins. There's a rat, and right next to it is just a stone sword key. Not below in the chamber, just in the Dragonburn ruins. So you can straight up start here, right down, get this, get that, teleport back up, right all the way over down Gale Cave. The Gale Cave is pretty straightforward. You can actually speedrun it. You can fight your way through however you feel about it. You go with the torch. Yes, I did have the torch because there's some dark elements. Just run completely through. And obviously, we did this with our tiny level 7 character with the axe. It's not really that hard. You have to jump down here. And now the trick is you have to essentially get through the cave once to unlock all the doors. I mean, you see these doors are unlocked now, but they're not usually unlocked. That's what this door is there for. So as you head out, you essentially have to go one time around. Here's the stake of Marika. You have to head all the way here. Instead of going left, because that's where the boss would be, but that door is closed, you have to go right. Make your way through all of this. And again, sure, you could now fight your way through these opponents, but there's no use because you'll be having to do this on level 7 anyways. Then you can open this door so you don't have to do this run again. And up here is the lever you pull to unlock all the cages. And as you have all the cages unlocked, you essentially do the same run again, unsurprisingly. Now, one thing there is, you can do this with a brand new account level 7. You head left now through this door. You can do this with a brand new account, but there is a boss fight you will have to do. And the boss isn't ultra hard, especially not if you start as the hero. He has the weapon to kind of handle this together with the summoned wolves. So if you get down here, you get to the boss fight. You just walk outside, Limgrave, boom, and there you get the Regalia of Eochaid. And the cool thing is, it needs you to have Strength 12, Dex 18, and Arc 15. That is very easy to achieve, especially as you pick up Radagon's Sword Seal, which greatly raises your attributes, but also increases damage taken. And it gives you 20 attributes in total: Vigor, Endurance, Strength, and Dexterity. The Sword Seal can be found in Fort Ferrith. There's a whole video on that with tips on 5 good, extremely useful early game items. So Fort Ferrith gives you the Sword Seal that you can then straight up from level 7, 10 on and wear this weapon already. Now, this would be the boss fight, and tips for you as a low level. I went level 7. I would probably recommend to go with level 10, 15 probably. And the main advice is go for jump attacks. I summoned the Wolfies. They're essentially level 1 here in this. And he has very predictable attack chains, so just let him do it. And after all of this attack chains, you can land just a jump attack. And these jump attacks obviously do great amounts of stagger. And the more stagger you do, the longer your wolves are there and the longer they support you with the stagger. See, he does that. Again, jump attack, stagger. So high recommendation for that. He goes for the overdrive mode, but again, you can jump attack, stagger him. He goes for one of these twirlies, and one after this twirly, you can again jump attack, stagger. So you do notice how significantly simple the fight can be. It took me like 5-6 tries to get into the rhythm here, and then you can obviously land straight up another good attack. So this is like he does the swing, and then he does the kick. And after the kick, it's again a jump attack, stagger. He tries to grab. The grab allows you that again. He does have a charge where he goes overhead, and then that would be another jump attack. But there's some predictable ones, and that is really the chain whirl. The chain whirl, super simple, right? He goes whoop, whoop, and you just go in, jump attack, and then after obviously stagger him, land another one. And then he has the swing, side swing, and then overhead kick. And as soon as you get these in, you have that. You can do this with a brand new level 7 account. Obviously, if you do not feel comfortable with this, just don't. And as you see, I have 5 flasks already because I picked up every single golden seed on the way, and we all know where they are. And here And then obviously, as we said, you just walk out and there in front of you is the Regalia of Eochaid. We had the Radagon Sword Seal here already because again, the Sword Seal is the first item you do pick up in every playthrough. So before you head into the cave with your brand new level 7 character, high recommendation is obviously to get the Sword Seal beforehand because it just gives you 5 vitality, 5 strength, 5 dexterity, 5 endurance. And that's an insane buff. That's like 20 levels you get from Fort Farith straight away. And the bonus damage is insignificant. Now, as you're already here, there's actually a good spot you can go for. And that is Fort Gale North. That's right above the Gale Cave. You essentially right just up around the hill. And as you get here, you have this little castle, which also has a teleporter to Radahn on top of it. But most importantly, there is one incantation here. And that incantation is called Flames Give Me Strength, which highes your damage by 20% straight away, which I do think is quite fantastic to have. And the incantation is stuck right behind these two fire things at the wall. For this incantation, you will need 15 faith, but 15 faith is relatively easy to achieve since there is a talisman, the Two Fingers Heirloom, which actually gives you +5. So right now, in order to have this 15 faith, I have the Two Fingers Heirloom, which raises my faith, gives me Flames Give Me Strength. The seal you can just easily buy from the ladies in the round table hold. And then you do have this tiny incantation, which for 30 seconds gives you 20% bonus damage. The Two Fingers Heirloom is actually easily getting in the Putrefied Ruins. They're right next to the Laskia Ruins. So you just ride right side over, go into the hidden chamber that is here below the wood. Again, the video with the 5 great items that you should be getting in the beginning. And then you get the Two Fingers Heirloom. Together with the Radagon Sword Seal that forms the base for this build, followed up by the Warrior Chart. The Warrior Chart gives you 10% more damage on your skills when you're doing this. 10% more sounds quite significant, especially since the Warrior Chart is so easy to get because you only have to kill Alexander for it. Problem obviously, as you kill Alexander, you won't be getting the Great Warrior Chart, but finishing Alexander's normal quest takes you until Farum Azula, and that is endgame. Therefore, it only gives you 5% more damage. Alexander can be found right here on top of this tiny hill. You essentially ride from the Stormhill Shack again through this ravine, and then just double jump up. Here's Alexander. You whack him out with a two-handed hit. He asks for his help. You whack him out. You kill him. You easily get the Warrior Chart, which boosts the power of attack skills by 10%. So you would be doing 10% more damage with this, 20% more damage with your thing. And if you kill the Tree Guardian, you technically also have the option to use the Golden Vow spell, because this one is the Hellbard. So technically you can use this Golden Vow plus the Flames Grant Me Strength, and they work multiplicative to provide you with greater damages. And you'll instantly do huge portions of damage. This is also why I started putting some points in mind, so you're able to obviously utilize these spells. But most of the time, I just use Flames Grant Me Strength, because essentially it's just from two-handed to one-handed. Use that. Because swapping over to your Golden Vow, it's like, it gets a bit tedious, even though it's 45 seconds. But I prefer to just use Flames Grant Me Strength, and then I'm good to go. Now, where would you get Marais Executioners Sword? Because obviously you would be playing the Regalia of Eochaid now in order to kill Margit the Fell, Godric, the Grafted, and you probably played until you kind of reached level 40. What I did, as I reached level 25 with a +5 blade, I went here to this Minor Erdtree. This Minor Erdtree has one of these tree spirits, the Putrid Avatar. This Putrid Avatar gives you 90,000 souls in the beginning. Now, I went there essentially straight as I get my weapon +5. At this point, I was level 25. So we killed Margit the Fell. Then we went here. The thing about this guy is, technically their attacks are super simple. They have these delayed swings, they have a kick. And if you do these jumping attacks with your +5 weapon, you need 5 of them, and you get him staggered. It's actually very simple and very straightforward. The biggest problem with this guy is he one-hit kills you. So there's like, you're going to take probably 10 tries, roughly. I mean, even though I've done this in every single playthrough, it still takes me some tries. But yeah, he goes down and you get 90,000 souls. You essentially go from level 25 straight away to level 38. And you're then actually ready to take on Godric if you want to. And or you can straight up head, obviously, for the Marais Executioners Sword boss, which is going to be quite the challenge. First, you picked from Fort Ferrith, obviously up one of the medallions. Second, the second medallion is on top of Fort Height down here. Fort Height is right next to the main area Limgrave. Bottom right, Fort Height here. That's where you pick up one medallion on top of the tower. Fort Ferrith the other one. And therefore, you could be using the Grand Lift of Dectus. And the Grand Lift of Dectus brings you straight up into the next part here, where you can see all the way to the north, the Shaded Castle. So you essentially land up at the Eltis Highway Junction. And from the Eltis Highway Junction, you would be riding straight into the ravine. You go to the west. And down here, you see this ravine. You already see the big mountain up. And you just have to ride into it. And then essentially head all the way north. Until you reach the Shaded Castle. And there's the Lord of Briar. Which is quite a significant boss to kill. And definitely a challenge for you and your level. I killed him at level 43. I would generally recommend doing it around level 50 to 60 to just have a little bit more stats. Roughly 30 minutes I spent murdering him was worth it. All the way north until you reach the Shaded Castle, jump up and you land up in the Shaded Castle ramparts. And the cool thing is you can just speed run the Shaded Castle. It would be an absolute nuisance to fight your way through this. So you essentially come from here, you jump up through the rabble and make your way up. And the cool thing is you just jump down here into the poison, go through, ignore all of these opponents. And this castle does take a significant amount of time if you actually do spend going through everything. But why would we do that if there's just the running through on the ladder, make your way up past all these tiny little nerds. Then after passing through these monsters, you jump down over here. And now with the shortcut here, you're just making your way straight up to the next grace. Bing, 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 bing. And can essentially, through the ladder, almost reach the boss. Take care, there's a wolf there. So don't go. There's two doggies. Ignore these doggies. We're just straight up making the run. He tries to stab you. He tries to stab you as well. Succeeds maybe. Yes, I'm fat rolling right now because I'm wearing two fat weapons. Usually I'm medium rolling. There's a Knight of Rot here. We all know they're actually quite annoying. Still, we'll just not even touch a single opponent. Again, there's one of these stabby guys here. He's not an obstacle. Here comes now a bit annoying part. You need to have this guy walk out. Then you run past him. And you essentially go up this elevator that I now forget to call. And that's why I'm going to die here. Okay, saved. We're going up. And now you're essentially already at the Lord of Briar, which uses your weapon to kind of clap your cheeks. So here's a stake of Marika, which is really good. Always make sure you stake of Marika. You see it in the top left corner. And you walk in and you can fight this gentleman. As you enter, you straight up want to summon your wolves. They do help tremendously here to help stagger him. And you want to do the jump attacks again. Problem is, he does his ranged whirly twirly. So you always want to be close to him. Then he slams down the shield. Again, jump attack opening. He does one swing. And I found it very easy to actually stay on the left side of him. So I'm always rolling to the left because then you can walk some. And here, first stagger. It goes really fast with the staggers. The wolves help to utilize the stagger and the front stab. So not a back stab. You have to execute him in the front. You do a significant amount of damage. You notice rolling left just works really good. He does one grab, and now the wolves help me to stagger. The grab, you technically want to roll on the left as well. When I tried rolling it right, I often end up actually getting had by it. And he does some delayed attacks overhead. That one you could have essentially walked to. And he slams the shield. He can also slam the shield and go for an explosion. So you have to be careful of that. You roll this again to the left. Stagger him one more time. And you got this. Took me like 30 minutes, level 43. You can do it too. And then you achieve Marais Executioners Sword. And that one you would instantly get +9. The way to get a +9 is described in the guide, where you just have like the somber smithing stones from 1 to 9 easy. I did actually take a slight shortcut for 1 to 4. So the first 4 smithing stones you can easily get from Master EG. So since you already went in order to get to the Grand Lift of Dectis, you went through all this area, right? You kind of have an easy path to Master EG, who's all the way here. That is where Master EG is. And you can buy 1 to 4 somber smithing stones from him to then instantly have at least 1 to 4 already. That's where Master EG is sitting. He sells you 1 to 4. You'll need 12,000 souls for that, if I'm not mistaken. That was 2, 3, 5,000, 9,000, 15,000 souls to get these. It goes very fast. And then number 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Just watch the guide for that. Instantly get the +9 sword, and then you're gonna have a good amount of fun going through the Riot Lucaria Academy. For example, I haven't done that yet, so again, you see, like, we haven't actually done the academy, so it's gonna be quite a joy to kill Rana with that. And now we're gonna obviously go for the other bosses. Volcano Manor is obviously also open because we did the Volcano Manor shortcut to get our things upgraded, so we can kill Rykard now. Now let's talk about the cons, the pros with this weapon. Obviously, you want to do this charge up attack, right? But you got to find openings in your bosses, openings in your opponents. I try to find one in Radahn, for example. And kind of finding an opening in Radahn can be quite tricky. So you want to get close to him, and you want to be essentially able to use your Whirly Twirly inside of him. I mean, you do a lot of damage already by nature, right? But finding really a spot where you can then jam it into him, that can be tricky. I think with the Mimic tier, things will get a little bit easier because you're going to have a tanking spirit that does it. But here you see like how much significant damage we just dealt with the Whirly Blade. And if he wasn't like in his jumping phase, that would have killed 1/3 of his HP straight away. So that is probably the downside of this weapon. You got to find like a good hit frame. And I would say there are bosses where this is easier. There are bosses where this is harder, depending on their whole moveset. Obviously, Radahn is just running around like a madman, whereas other bosses are just more static and therefore easier to hit. For example, Rena will be super easy because Rena has her phases where she just stands and you just essentially going to be dead. Elden Beast, Radagon, all these guys should also be having their phases, especially when your Mimic actually holds the tank. And that's going to be your whole trick, finding the moments where you can then just absolutely obliterate your opponent and become the ultimate evil Sith Lord. Heads up, how to get this armor. You have to go down here in the village of Elbenorix. That is when you start at the Laskia ruins, right below this area. And you actually go to the old Elbis. He's hidden in a jar there. And if you talk to him, he gives you the hidden medallion to the Helic tree, which you'll be needing later to access a super secret area in the game. And as you get that and teleport back to the round table hold, there will be an invader waiting for you to stab you, and you get a very good armor. It's poor Elbis, gives you that, and gives you then, and after teleporting back, you essentially just clap the assassin, get the armor, and feel very powerful and good. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed this guide. Marais Executioners Sword Laser Beam Super Build. My 4th seal will probably be the Hyper Endurance seal that you're getting later from the second time you're fighting Margit in front of the city of Lanedale. Because with the bonus damage, with the phase, and with everything, it just works perfectly. And no, you do not have to upgrade your seal. Your seal is essentially just there to allow you to cast the incantation, but you're not looking to do damage with the seal. You essentially just want to get the incantation. Hope you enjoyed this guide. Check out the other videos. There are plenty there to help you hopefully have a better time with this game. Thank you for coming, for watching, and hopefully still enjoying Elden Ring as much as I do with my 6th playthrough here right now.